Welcome back. I am a high school teacher and teach a couple periods of a shop class where we have a great shop with kind of my favorite tools being the table saw and then the planer. And in the start of the summer here, I made some projects for the house and the shop using just kind of the various materials that we had around. And really enjoyed making those projects, but wanted to be able to make some stuff at my house. And my house is kind of the polar opposite of the high school shop in that I have a very limited space and really limited tools. And so I built this kind of workstation and centered it around my two main tools are my circular saw and my router. And so I built a couple projects, some coat racks, and I ended up wanting to scale up a little bit bigger. And so I designed and built this bench. And I want to kind of talk about the process and also why I probably wouldn't build it again at my house. And really what it boils down to is the start of it is these longer rip cuts. So I lost a bunch of footage, but I basically built a track saw, a DIY track saw, where I can rip these 1x8 Redwood boards into these 3-inch sections. And just the setup was brutal. So this would have taken me, I don't know, like literally a couple of minutes with the table saw in the shop, and that would have been perfect. And it took me almost 45 minutes to get them here. And they're not even all that uniform. You can see some gaps here. But once I got them cut, I started kind of laying out where these notches were going to go, as I was hoping the whole thing would be able to basically fit together and have to have very little fasteners or glue. And kind of one of the things that's different working at the house is just the setups and the amount of times I have to kind of lay things out without having like stop blocks or jigs that I've had that I can rely on for things to be kind of laid out uniformly. And some of that also stems from not having the thickness planer, and so these are close to the same thickness, but there's some slight variations that leads to things kind of being off. So I'm cutting these notches in with the circular saw. I would use a crosscut sled on the table saw to notch these out, but I was able to get there with it. It just took, again, a lot more time, and as I'm looking at these, I can see some imperfections in terms of where the saw was angled or the pieces weren't lined up perfectly. But again, it's doable. It's something that I can work on, I can think through, and it has me woodworking at the house, which, again, I think is great, and is the point, is to make some stuff with simpler tools. But none of it would be possible without this jig that I bit, this sled where I can do cross cuts, and I can do smaller rip cuts up to about 22 inches. And then for the assembly part, this is where it all kind of comes together and all of those little mismeasurements start to really line up and be a problem. I'm sorry that you cut off the top here, but basically just trying to fit things in at the end became really, really tricky, and I had to adjust pieces with the handsaw. I'd probably do it differently next time, but was able to get there and be able to make it work. But again, the frustration at the start of it of just getting those large rip cuts really kind of carried through for the rest of it. In the end, it's functional, it's not beautiful, but it works. And so as I kind of look forward, what I would suggest is if you're interested in woodworking, taking some time to really learn the design part. This is free. This just takes your time. Learning something like Fusion 360 is great, or make little small projects that just work on skills. This is a skill board that my students do. It has all sorts of different alignment that you guys can work on just to kind of build out that skill set. So I encourage everybody to keep working. You can definitely do stuff with just a circular saw and a router and some ingenuity, but don't expect the end result to be the same level of quality or speed that you would see with a shop. There's a reason why shops have the setups that they do. But also, don't be afraid to build your own setups. I built a lot of the things that I used this summer, and I learned a ton by just going through that process of building my own setups, using the tools that I had, like this little router table that I was able to build. And so the design build process, there's no magic to it. You just got to get a bunch of reps. So just keep building, and then you'll add in the tools that you need as you get to them. Thanks for watching, and if you want to check out some of the 3D printed jigs that I've created, go to the website as well as some shop class curriculum. Thank you.